You don't want to let me drink the way I want to? That's cool. I don't need you. Today's daily reflection for 13 November 2020, looking outward. Let's go. Well, here we go, folks. Hope you had a great Thursday evening. Let's get into today's daily reflection. Looking outward, we ask especially for freedom from self-will and careful to make no request for ourselves. We may ask for ourselves, however, if others will be helped. We are careful never to pray for our own selfish ends. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 87. As an active alcoholic, I allowed selfishness to run rampant in my life. I was so attached to my drinking and other selfish habits that people and moral principles came second. Now, when I pray for the good of others rather than my own selfish ends, I practice a discipline in letting go of selfish attachments, caring for my fellows and preparing for the day when I will be required to let go of all earthly attachments. That's a lot of stuff about attachment, people. Where does that lead us? Well, when I was drinking, when I was in my active alcoholism for the better part of 2.5 decades, there was nobody more important than me. It didn't matter the situation. It didn't matter, who I hurt along the way. And it didn't matter what someone else was going through. As long as I got my drink. That's what it was for me. If you had somebody get hit by a car and they're in the hospital, that's cool. Are they okay? Great. Time to drink. You ran out of money and you need $1 to help get you through until the next payday? Sorry, kid. Sorry, friend. I need to have that for myself because I need to drink. And if I'm praying today, guess what it's going to be for? That I don't get caught drunk tomorrow and get through long enough just to have another drink. But being able to think outwardly and being able to care about other people in my sobriety, my thought process has shifted to the point where almost everything that I do and think is for other folks. Now, that's not to say that I forget about myself, because sobriety is number one. So if there's a point to where my sobriety is in jeopardy, of course I'm going to place myself first. But looking outward is the ability to empathize and then care about somebody else rather than yourself. And then because I was so selfish as an active alcoholic, I have to learn to be selfless and to be of service to other folks and to help where I'm needed. Matter of fact, I just got a message on Reddit this morning. It was probably from last night, but I saw it this morning, of someone asking about tips for not drinking, through this COVID pandemic and everything else. It's stressful enough to be isolated, and it's stressful enough to have to, try to cope with it on your own, which is why I suggested getting a sober friend, who they could contact when they felt like drinking, or, just when they had feelings that were creeping in that were going to lead them to drink in the first place. Now, this person said they'd been isolated and they've gotten rid of all those attachments from friends who, their whole life revolves around drinking, or rather everything they do has a drink with it. And that person is now more self-isolated and feels more alone. Now, those are a lot of things, halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired come into play when certain emotions are affecting the way we behave and think. Those same emotions can be the double-edged sword to leading us back to the drink. I didn't rhyme that on purpose, but it just happened. As an active alcoholic, I allowed selfishness to run rampant in my life. I put everything into drinking, literally. And as I've said before, if it didn't fit into the equation of my next drunk, it didn't matter for me. And I turned my phone off, if in the event someone was going to call to interrupt my drinking. it is what it is, folks, and that's how a lot of us active alcoholics and addicts act. You know, that's how our behavior is that if it impedes our drink or drug, it doesn't belong in our life. On the opposite end of the spectrum in sobriety, that is the last thing in our life, but it should always remain in the forefront of what could tip us back over to the other side. So me being of service to other folks and me praying for the willingness and the courage to help other people who are still suffering is what lies first and foremost in my mind. And that for me is looking outward for, you know, the welfare of other people versus myself. Do I need money? Absolutely. Do I need money to drink? Not today. Do I need clothing on my back? I do, and so does my family. But am I willing to give the shirt off my back to someone who needs it? Absolutely. That's right. I practice discipline in letting go of selfish attachments, caring for my fellows and preparing for the day when I will be required to let go of all earthly attachments. Now, I don't know how that applies for you, but how that applies for me is, you know, I practice being, you know, selfless in today. And I practice to not be selfish in order to prepare for the day when I'm not going to be here anymore and it's all going to be gone anyway. So what do I have to offer people other than just my experience, strength, and hope? Nothing. That's all I can give you. And if you can take away from it, you know, then you are going to benefit. Because I went through, you know, just like many other folks, the detriment and the pitfalls of alcoholism and active alcoholism, and I've learned from it, and I'm able to grow and thrive in my sobriety, and my job is to push that out so other folks can do the same thing. So long as I do that and I aim towards being of service and helpful to other people, then I am no longer practicing selfish acts, and I am prepared when all my earthly materials and possessions and everything else are no longer required and I'm off to a different place. You know, take that as you will. So that's food for thought. I could definitely expound on that a lot more, but as you know, folks, I got to go to work. So this is one sober to another. I'm Wayne, and I'm definitely an alcoholic, but a grateful recovering alcoholic. And guess what time it is? I'll see you in the next one. You have a good day. Life's a garden. Dig it.